the Box, Episodes of Horror with Donna and Eric. I'm Donna,
And I'm Eric.
and we are doing another Texas Author Con and Book Festival interview. And tonight we have with us Weston King. How you doing, Weston?
I'm good. Hey.
Hey, it's good to have you on.
Yep.
So we're just, interviewing the authors that will be at the event, so people can get a little taste of what your personality is like, Um, so, those people that may be more introverted can see how nice of a person you are and, want to approach you at the event,
Yeah.
to chit chat and hopefully buy some books. Um, so we just have a few icebreaker questions that we like to ask people. So tell us, Jason, Michael, or Freddie?
What's funny about that is I actually have a tattoo on my leg of half of Michael's mask and half of Jason's mask.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's pretty
So
cool.
I mean, I guess I would say Michael more because of Jamie Lee Curtis, but that'd be the only deciding factor I would have.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
when we
a,
started this, I was just saying when we started this, I'm always shocked at how little love Mike gets. So
yeah. Yeah, Michael
Yeah.
didn't hasn't gotten much love at all.
when we started, it was just Jason and Michael, and then everybody would keep picking Freddie if he was an option. So we threw him in there after a few interviews. So usually it's Freddie, and then if
Yeah.
it's not, it's Jason, and then we've had a couple Michaels. So it's cool. And do you have a favorite out of all of them?
I really like how they brought him back. I don't like how it ended. Like I don't like Halloween ends, but probably the new Halloween. Like I think it came out in 2016.
Yeah, I think
Would
so.
probably be like one of my favorites in the series.
Yeah, it was a
That
clever
was
way of bringing everybody back and kind of getting rid of some of the nonsense if you wanted to use that, if you wanted to dismiss some of the stuff that came out after one. So,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually we did Rob Zombie's Halloween, didn't we? An
yeah, we
episode
did
on that,
those guys and then we compared it to the original Halloween.
the original one. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. How about werewolves versus vampires? What would you pick?
I'm a werewolf person through and through.
Yes.
I'm not a
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah,
vampire person
yeah, we're
at
both
all.
team werewolf. So that is the correct answer.
That is the correct answer. Are you more like the wolf-like werewolf, or are you more like the bipedal type werewolf?
Either way, I really like the things they did with Underworld, how they did the werewolves there. But
Yeah,
I also really love like Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman is one of my favorite movies. So I really liked how they did him too.
nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like the American Werewolf in London, where it was
Oh yeah.
more like a wolf-like werewolf. But then Dog Soldiers is like one of my favorite movies, so
It's hard to
Yeah.
go wrong with any of them. I mean, just a werewolf itself is cool.
yeah.
I and I mean, we kind of cheat now with CGI, but I think there's nothing cooler than the old style movies when you get to watch to see how they would transform and stuff and the tricks they would use. That's always what fascinated me. Usually with the vampire movies, we didn't get too much. I mean, there's some Fright Night, she changes when she becomes it, so there's some makeup involved, but there's something really cool about watching how they did in the early 80s and especially in the old days with Universal. How they made the people change into wolves and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about the transformation in the Howling, where it
yeah, the
took
howling.
forever for him to
Right.
transform.
Yeah. No, we really enjoyed it, but at the same time, we did a big thing on werewolves. We talked about the book and then the movie, but I was shocked at how long it took them to they milked the transformation in the howling. So
Yeah. I'm like, she could have run off and he would
yeah.
still be changing.
Yeah. They should have escaped many times. It took so long.
Yeah. What was your favorite scary movie as a kid, and is it still your favorite scary movie?
As a kid, it would probably have to be It, which isn't really a movie, it's more of a limited series, but I
Hmm.
really, really fell in love with Tim Curry
Yeah.
whenever I was younger. And now I cannot, it's probably the Conjuring series. And yes, I know some of them are cheesy. I know that, but like the whole series as a whole, like I love them. Absolutely.
Now, who do you think would win, Pennywise or Valak, the nun?
I would say probably Valak because Pennywise is an actual entity. It is something that is actually formed. It's just an alien species. So I would say probably Valak because she doesn't have the like I guess the restrictions of being a physical being.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Um, so when when you were watching it, did you like pretty much everybody we've interviewed were watching horror movies at inappropriate ages. So about how old were you when you saw it for the first time?
I was probably like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I was young. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was
Did you
young.
see it when it came out originally, or is this when you saw it later when they put it on?
Oh no, I was later.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to age Donna and I because I saw it when it was on TV. So I remember
Yeah,
coming
Yeah.
home.
me
I
too.
remember
Yeah.
racing home to make sure I saw it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, don't give up our ages, Eric. And do you have a favorite horror novel?
um, that one's hard. Uh, they're kind of on the base of horror is the Sookie Stackhouse novels, the Southern
Mm,
Empire
yeah,
mysteries. I really like those a lot.
yeah, they're very fun. Those. I like her other series too. I mean, it's not even remotely close to horror, but the Tea Garden mysteries. I think she does a really good job with those too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but yeah, no, the first three or four, the True Blood books, the Sookie things, I think those are really, really good. Very entertaining.
Yeah, they were. And I like the whole dead pun she does with each of like her titles.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Very clever.
Yeah.
yeah, I can't remember if I know I've read one or two of those books, but I can't remember if I had read them prior to the series coming out.
No, I
Or
didn't. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't start really reading them until I got into True Blood.
yeah,
Because, but afterwards I fell in love. So
Yeah,
yeah, and
I'm a book nerd. I read them way before True Blood. In fact, that's what made me interested in True Blood because I was like, oh, I've read these books. They're interesting. I told Dawn about it, my wife. So, and I was like, oh, you're gonna like this. This will be a fun series. But then, of course, True Blood, it's HBO'd up, so it's a lot. It's a little bit more to it than the books do. But
oh
I
yeah, of
still thought they
course.
were both very good. So.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that series something you would recommend to a person who is new to reading horror?
I guess it depends on like the age, if that makes sense. Like
Mm,
the age gap or whatever, because I feel like True Blood has now come with like the Sookie Stackhouse novels, so they're gonna want to watch it. And I don't think that show is very like age appropriate depending on how old you are.
Right.
And some people don't like that kind of stuff. Like I have a big problem for like gore of the sake of gore, if that makes sense. Like how the Saw series turned into and stuff like that. Like I have a problem with that. So I know people have a problem with like nudity and stuff like that. So I think it would just be a more of a fill out kind of situation, like get to know somebody before you like, recommend something to them.
just throw them into a book. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to a couple times last year during the interviews, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I would never do that. Just throw some hardcore stuff." And then my best friend, I actually had her reading some splatterpunk when I got her into reading horror. So
Yeah, right into it. Threw into the deep end.
I just threw her
There you
into the
go.
deep end. But she's still my best friend, so I guess it didn't hurt.
Nope.
Right.
All right. Um, so tell us, for those who don't know you, what genre do you write in?
Mainly horror, I do. And it has like LGBTQIA undertones.
Okay.
Like most of my characters are part of that spectrum. Um, because that's who I want to give a voice to. Like I've always felt like I've read novels or I've seen movies and I'm like, there's no representation of like me. So
Hmm.
I want to give representation as much as I possibly can. Um, I have written in other things. Like I have done, cheesy, somebody called it a Hallmark novel. Um, But horror is my main focus. But I look at like, I mean, you look at people like Stephen King, and he wrote stuff like, The Dark Tower and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it's not like he just stayed in one focus area either.
Yeah.
But the LGBTQIA is basically what I write under a lot of. So
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's always nice to find diverse voices when you're reading horror, because it can sometimes get a little stale um, when you're reading, CIS white men,
yeah, it's
um,
true.
you got your Dean Koontz, you got your Stephen King, so it's good to have diverse voices in every genre, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
and not just LGBTQIA plus. It's POC. It's great female writers, because that's another um, demographic that's needs a louder voice especially in the horror industry.
Yeah, but I feel like we are getting a lot of that done in indie horror.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for
I mean,
sure.
traditionally published stuff, yeah, I think it's lacking, but there are so many I think indie horror is diverse if we really take a
Hmm.
step back and look at it. And I think that's what makes indie horror so cool. Every time we do stuff, we get to see all these different voices. Every time we do one of these interviews, especially for this third year, it does feel like we're getting more diverse writers and ideas mixed in with some of the more traditional horror people that we have talked to in the past. I think it's really cool that we're the indie horror doesn't seem to shy away from opening their arms and letting everybody come in.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. Um, when you're writing, what's your environment like? Are you I need music type of person, or are you I need it completely silent type of person?
um, music or like a movie. I have horrible. Sometimes my ADHD just takes over, and I can't focus on one thing. So if I have, it's weird to me, but if I have a bunch of things going on at once, it's easier for me to focus on something that I want to do. And so like I've watched movies while I've written. Quiet bothers me sometimes because like you're left alone with your own thoughts.
Mm,
And in a horror spectrum that can be, tricky to deal
Yeah.
with. You know,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
hard
if
to
that makes sense.
yeah, you stop writing and you start transcribing the voice as it's yelling at you to do other things, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
totally
Yeah.
get that. I think
yeah,
it's amazing though the people that can have a movie going on and can write a completely new thought. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So I know a
yeah,
couple people that do that have movies on while they're writing, and I just would stop and just watch the movie. So
Yeah. Or start writing the movie.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm a quiet person. I need like complete like silence um when I write, because otherwise I'm just like not focused, you know? Which is unfortunate because my house is hardly ever quiet,
right.
except
And I've
during the
heard,
day when I'm working my job, so I can't
yeah,
really be
right.
writing while I'm working my 9 to 5, you know. And Eric, you do soundtracks.
yeah, I like music. Usually anything instrumental, but I occasionally will pull a song in that if it fits what I'm doing. But yeah, for the most part, I like to do movie scores. I've been listening to Dune a lot lately. It's a pretty good one. It's got a lot of ups and downs, so you can kind of go with the ebbs and flows of it.
Now, is that the soundtrack from the new Dune movies
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
the new stuff.
Yeah. Um, so are you working on anything currently? Do you have any works in
Uh,
progress that are going on?
Not really, not right now.
No?
Um, I've just been taking some time to myself, mental health days, if that makes sense,
Oh
Oh
and
yeah,
yeah, perfectly.
dealing with some stuff. So right now, I'm content where I'm at. So I mean, I'm not saying there's something that won't happen, today or tomorrow when I'm sleeping or something, but like as far as hardcore working on something, no, not right now.
Okay. Um, so I'm just gonna share my screen here. So I grabbed some covers um for you. Drag Queen Zombies. I love that cover.
Thank you.
that's super fun, and it totally makes me think drag queens because it's kind of
Mhm.
like shimmery here. Smile looks kind of sinister.
I really like
Um,
Smile. It's simple,
yes,
but I like everything about it would make me pick this book up. I think that's
yeah,
really cool.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So tell us quick synopses of these two stories.
So Drag Queen Zombies is literally a parody of like the whole zombie genre. Like they bleed glitter glue. Um they yeah, I mean it's just a total parody is what it is, but I mean just imagine like RuPaul's Drag Race with zombies basically. And
Now I'm
in
going to be
Smile,
picturing RuPaul as a zombie.
they'll never die anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah,
Like
right?
be around forever. Um Smile is more along the lines of kind of like, I mean, if you take it from inspiration, it's kind of like the Ring meets It kind of thing. It's
Okay.
a email that goes around. It's like a chain mail kind of thing, and if you don't answer, you get murdered by this entity
Ooh,
that's there. But those are the two that, yeah,
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. Yeah, I went onto your Amazon author page and I was just looking through what you had out there. Now, how many books? I didn't count them, so about how many books or do you have out?
So if we're just talking about like books, probably like 6 or 7. But if we're
Wow.
talking about like short stories, I write all the time. Like
Yeah.
I publish those all the time. So I mean, there's a bunch of them on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked up Frat House Devil.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. Brad has Devil.
I know that's one of your short stories that you have on there. I
Yeah.
haven't read it yet, so but I did pick it up.
Well, tell me
Um,
what you think.
I definitely
Let me
will.
know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Donna's a quick reader, so she'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, yeah. Read and write and work, and it's just never ending. Never ending. Um, yeah. So you'll have copies of. I'm not sure if Smile is a short story or not, but will you have copies of Drag Queen Zombies? Because I definitely want to pick up a copy of
Yes.
that.
Yes. And yes, I will. And Smiles actually sold with 2 other books, which is Monsters and Survivor.
Oh,
Oh,
But
okay.
it is in book form. It's just not by itself.
Okay, so it's like a collection of three of your stories together.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. Now, what was the first book that you had written, or the first
Uh,
thing you published, if it was a short story?
It was not. It was actually Toys in the Attic was my very first book, which is totally like, I don't know, looking back now, it's totally not like what I've developed into. It was basically stuffed animals meets World of Warcraft.
That sounds
Um,
cool.
yeah, but it's like nothing that I write anymore. Like it's not close to what I
right.
write. And I was young whenever I did it, and I honestly didn't know what I was doing, and I published through Amazon by myself, which was Create Space at the time. And I screwed up, like totally screwed up. Like these books were huge. Like the dimensions were off, everything was
Oh no.
wrong. And some of the person I got to edit it, their comments were like in there, like like how you
Oh
have the little
no.
side thing. Yeah, like it was crazy. So I had to get somebody else to do it for me the first time. But that was my first book, and it's like 400 and something pages long.
Oh wow.
But yeah, that was my first ever thing that I've ever published. So
Very cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And let me tell you, that's par for the course because, everybody, when you're doing it for the first time and you're making, you make mistakes, you know.
yeah.
Uh, so, don't feel bad about that. I'm sure, it's happened to me when I
Yeah.
published my first thing. Um, so, through Amazon self-publishing and all that, So it's thing. Now, do you ever think that you'll revisit that and, maybe turn it into what you write now, or are you gonna just leave it and just move
Right.
on?
Yeah, right now it's more of a leave it situation because
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get back in the headspace of like where I was back then, you
Yeah.
know. So
Now, how long ago was that?
2010, 20
Oh,
2009,
okay.
2010, something like that.
Quite a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it sounds cool. And there's nothing wrong with writing in different genres,
No.
but if you're not in a place like mentally to be like, I'm going to tackle this and, go through it and revamp it, it's best that you just, just don't, because then you'll make it worse,
Right.
Yeah.
Not helping at all.
Yep, not helping at all. Absolutely not. So what are you looking forward to for Texas AuthorCon besides selling books, of course? Like what are you looking forward to the most?
I just like meeting new people and like getting to know people, I guess making connections more than anything. I'm a people person, not when it comes to online. Most of the time when I do like interviews and stuff, I feel awkward. But like in person, I just like to meet people and like to get to know them. That's what I really like to do. So I feel like it'd be cool just to meet like different people in different genres and, hear about their lives and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this one's gonna have a lot more genres, so it's gonna really be spread out.
Yeah.
Last year's was pretty good. We had quite a few new stepping outside of the horror stuff, and then this year it's even more so. So, but there's still plenty of horror writers and stuff going to be there, so it's a good mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a great time. And that's a good way to be, because that's a good way to get people to your table,
Yeah.
So last year's Texas AuthorCon was actually my first event as an author. And I was sharing a table with a friend of mine, and he was very outgoing and, engaging with the people. And I was kind of like, hey, you know, uh, so we'll see if I'm better at scares. That's coming up next month.
You'll do fine. You're gonna kill it. It'll be
Yeah,
fun.
I hope so. But yeah, so, it's a learning curve. Is this your first event, or have you done other events?
I don't know. My first event was in 2012. It was East Texas author something. I'd have to look it up. I don't even think they come around here anymore. It was held at Harvey Hall in Tyler, Texas, though. But I haven't like heard anything after that. But that was my very first event, and I had 2 books, and that was it, literally. And I had like the 2 books. I had like 10 copies between the 2 books because I was like, I literally went in there thinking, no offense to anybody, but like I went in there thinking I'm not really gonna sell much because nobody really knows who I am. So like I'd rather just get my name out there than bring a bunch of stuff. And I didn't know at the time the next time I was going to do a con or anything, so I just brought like bare minimum stuff, but I actually sold out. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah, but that was the very first thing I did. And then after that, I've done all con in Dallas. I've done a bunch Geekend in Kilgore. I've been to Longview. Yeah, I've done some stuff around.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. Wow, great. Yeah, some people, this will be their first event. Some people are veterans of events, Um, so yeah, it's a nice mix of not only genres, but people who have different levels of experience. Some people only have one book out,
Yeah.
you know, um, and this is maybe not their first event, but they only got the one book, so they don't do as many events. Some people have, 30 books.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some people that aren't gonna even bring all their books. They have so many
Yeah,
books. So
yeah, yeah, that's for sure. So where can people find your books if they want to look online? Do you have a website of your own, or is it just Amazon?
I'm published through Amazon. I don't really have a website of my own. I did, and then I never kept up with it because I
yeah,
was like, but I do have a Facebook. It's facebook.com/the king will see you now,
Oh,
which was
okay.
a play. It's a play on the 50 Shades of Grey. Mr. Grey will see you now. Yeah, I know. But that's where I got it from. And then from there is if you want to go through Facebook, you can do that. If not, you just look up my name, Weston Woodrow King, on Amazon, and I should come up.
All right, great.
So
cool.
Yeah, well, we'll have links to your Amazon page in the description of this episode so people can check out your books. We'll also have a link to the Eventbrite site so you can get tickets to the event, which is free. You just need to, and if go on and get a ticket. You don't need a ticket to attend, but it helps us track numbers. So yeah, we will see you at Texas AuthorCon. And thanks for joining us, Weston. It's been a pleasure to get to know you.
It's good to see you too. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for getting on.